$100,000. Joining me now is Tim Miller, Deputy Communications Director for the Republican National Committee. Tim, it's nice to see you this morning.
Hey, Thomas, great to be with you.
All right, so Republicans, they're jumping on Team Romney's new strategy, highlighting the president's small business comments. And to be clear, the president actually said that businesses don't get there alone, that they need help. It's not in a vacuum that they operate. Today, we have these new reports, though, from the LA Times and the Chicago Trib saying that Bain Capital and Mitt Romney at the helm got help raising a third of its initial investment funds from wealthy foreigners, most of this money coming through corporations registered in Panama. Some of the most secretive business laws exist there in Panama. Does that story prove the president's point that business leaders don't come by successful initiatives on their own?
Well, I think certainly not, Thomas. I think the recent polls you cited have shown that the president's false attacks on Mitt Romney aren't working right now and that people care about the economy. And I want to turn to your point about the context of the president's "you didn't build that" remark. There was a good article by Phil Klein this morning that says that really the context actually made that comment worse. And if you look at the whole speech and what he's arguing, it's that, you know, the way that we're going to fix this economy, the way that we're going to get out of this ditch is through more government and not by unleashing the private sector. You know, his argument was that people, small business owners, you know, you're not that smart, you didn't work that hard, you didn't earn that, it happened because of the government. And that's the wrong way to look at our economy right now, and it's shown over the last 3 years about his policies and the ones that he's put in place, and they haven't worked for fixing the economy, and that's why we need to go a new direction and go with someone who's going to unleash entrepreneurs to create jobs and be innovative like the American way.
So, Tim, RNC Chair Reince Priebus, he's going to be in Philly today to push allegations of crony capitalism on the part of the president by highlighting the car maker Fisker, which your party says is moving American jobs to Finland. Governor Romney spoke directly about this yesterday. Take a listen.
If you happen to have been a large campaign contributor to the Obama campaign, why, you may have found yourself able to receive a government guarantee or loan. There have been some like Solyndra, Fisker, Tesla, others that have received $500 million each. It's only coincidental, by the way, that these are contributors to the Obama campaign. Fisker makes electric cars, and we loaned them $500 million. When I say we loaned them, I mean taxpayers loaned them $500 million. And guess where they make their cars? Finland. Yeah, Finland.
So the Washington Post fact checker finds that Fisker applied for its loan, Tim, under the Bush administration, was given its loan under a program, again, started under the Bush administration. Also, the only reason why Team Romney is able to target who Fisker is and any tax money they got is because the bundlers that are supporting President Obama, their names have been released, whereas Mitt Romney's bundlers have not been released. So we don't know the money that's going into that team. Is the RNC saying that Mitt Romney is going to be releasing his bundler information now because they're able to use President Obama's bundler information against him?
Well, you made a lot of points there, and I want to correct a few things. When it comes to Fisker, under the Obama stimulus, there are a number of items that went to Fisker and that were part of this project. And President Obama and Joe Biden himself, remember this is in the vice president's home state, promised that there was going to be a Fisker automotive plant that took over the old GM plant in Delaware. That was going to create jobs in Pennsylvania and Delaware. That's why Chairman Priebus is there today to talk about those jobs that never came, even though they received taxpayer money. And instead, what Fisker is doing is building jobs overseas in Finland. And this was part of a number of examples of stimulus money that went to companies that ended up buying products from overseas companies. And you don't have to take my word for it. Sherrod Brown, a Democrat from Ohio, Chuck Schumer had a great quote about this where he said it's enough to make your blood boil that all of this was going overseas. So, you know, the facts when it comes to Fisker on this are pretty clear, and that's why Chairman Priebus is there today to highlight the president's own spending of taxpayer dollars overseas.
And the chairman can do that because the president and their team, they've released who their bundlers are. Will Mitt Romney be releasing the information on who is supporting him,
I think
who his
you're conflating
bundlers
a lot
are?
of things here. You know, what we were talking about yesterday was a guy named Steve Wesley. This is very public. You know, Steve Wesley was the California finance chair for Barack Obama. He had 4 companies that ended up getting over $500 million.
But Tim, you're calling calling out the president for crony capitalism, and you're not going to reveal anything for who the bundlers are. Mitt Romney's team not revealing, and you're not pressing Mitt Romney on revealing any of who his bundlers are. So we, the American people, don't know who might be supporting him and who he might then, crony capitalism-wise, as you're trying to allege that the president is doing, would have in place if he was the president. Isn't there a little bit of hypocrisy there?
All Mitt Romney's donors are public, just like all of Barack Obama's donors are public. So you're not comparing apples to apples here, Thomas.
But the bundler that you're going after, the bundler that you're going after with Fisker is a bundler. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that a bundler or not?
No, you are wrong. That's not true. You're conflating two issues. Steve Wesley, who had 4 companies, that Fisker wasn't one of them, that got $500 million. He was a bundler, but he's also public because he was the California finance chair.
Okay, so I'm not wrong. He was a bundler,
about his
right?
access to Valerie
So I'm not wrong. He was a bundler, right? You told me I was wrong, but he is a bundler, correct?
No, but you're wrong as it relates to Fisker.
No, I'm either right or I'm wrong. So I'm right that he's a bundler. I'm right that he's a bundler.
No, Steve, no. You're conflating two things. There are two issues.
I asked you, is he a bundler or not? So yes, he is a bundler, which you then told me I was wrong, and then you confirmed my point that he is a bundler. Here's the thing. Is Mitt Romney going to release who his bundlers are?
As I just said, all of Mitt Romney's donors are public. And what Mitt Romney's not going to do is exactly what President Obama did, and go into the White House and start giving out taxpayer money to all of his donors and to a bunch of pet projects. As the DNC's own spokesman said, that they were giving out stimulus money to donors that went overseas for pet projects. So, all of this stuff is transparent. And when you look at Fisker, that's not a bundler issue. What that issue is that they promised there'd be jobs for Pennsylvania with taxpayer dollars. Jobs didn't go to Pennsylvania. They went to Finland. And I agree with Chuck Schumer. It's enough to make your blood boil.
Do you think that bundlers need to be revealed?
You continue to ask this question, and as I've said, Mitt Romney, all of his donors are public, just like all of Barack Obama's donors are public. You can go online and see them. And where I am outraged, and where the American people is outraged, is when their tax money is being given to donors on the of President Obama, and people who have special access. And that's exactly what President Obama promised he would not do in 2008, and that's exactly what he's doing, to the tune of over $500 million, just in one example.
RNC Deputy Communications Director Tim Miller. Tim, nice to have you on this morning. Thank you for your time, and I'm going to be talking